Hi friends, thanks for tuning in. I'm Amanda, and this is video 3 of the Writing for Everyday Life series. We left off at how it's no secret that good writing requires persistence, patience, and effort. While the tips I shared in the first and second videos may be of help, they don't change the fact that it can be frustrating to write well. On the contrary, it's so easy to just give up trying to write well and accept that you'll get it done and over with as soon as possible. I've personally fallen into this trap more times than I'd like to admit. However, over the years, writing has become less of a pain thanks to the advice I will share in this video. Keep watching if you want to find out how writing well doesn't have to feel like climbing a never-ending hill. Firstly, and very importantly, mindset is everything. I know that this is said a lot these days, so sorry to be another parrot in your ear, but in the context of writing, it is especially true. If you go into a piece of writing thinking, oh man, this is such a tedious, boring thing to do, I would rather be doing anything but this, then chances are that you're not going to have a fun time while writing. Negatively framing things like this is something I used to be guilty of, not just with writing, but frankly speaking, with anything I didn't look forward to doing. However, you'd be surprised at how much easier it is to get unpleasant things done when you change the way you look at them. Rather than viewing a writing assignment or a cover letter as a mundane, tedious task, view it as an opportunity. An opportunity to stand out from the crowd and excel. No, you don't have to be someone who's extraordinarily talented to have this winner's mindset. You simply have to assume that you are capable of blowing people away with your incredible writing, or that you have something impressive to offer, and that this writing is your chance to show off. Now, I get that shifting your mindset is much easier said than done. If you're having a bit of trouble getting into the groove, something I find immensely helpful is listening to an inspirational song. My go-to music is The Greatest by Sia, Unstoppable by Sia, as well as Whatever It Takes by Imagine Dragons. However, anything that you enjoy that gets you into the can-do mindset can do the trick. See what I did there? Tip number 2 is don't try to be perfect. Instead, go for good enough. Trust me, I understand very well that it's tempting to strive for perfection when it comes to writing. However, in most cases, writing well means writing well. It doesn't mean writing amazingly, incredibly, without flaw. Speaking from personal experience, perfectionist attitudes can actually bring you down. Imagine spending an hour on a small wording issue when you could otherwise be spitting out solid paragraphs. Yes, this is something that I regrettably have done. And I can attest to the fact that it is not worth your time. Additionally, after exhausting all my energy on a few words, I often felt burnt out and especially unmotivated to keep writing the rest of the file. Tip number 3 is to take advantage of your voice. Here's what I mean. Talking is something most of us do on a daily, even hourly basis. We are inherently good at saying coherent sentences. So, if you're having trouble coming up with good sentences in writing, speaking out what you wish to write can make the process a whole lot easier. However, remember that writing is often more formal, less wordy, and less jargon-filled than speaking, so after generating the bulk of the sentence, be sure to touch up so that it sounds appropriate. Now this tip can also go the other way. After writing something, I would encourage you to read out loud what you've written multiple times. If it sounds awkward when spoken, then chances are that it also is awkwardly written. tip number 4 is to be objective. If you've managed to get into the groove of writing, that's great, and I admire you for getting this far. However, it's very important to stay grounded in reality. I get that if you've worked hard on something, it's easy to get carried away with how incredible it is. Perhaps it is incredible, and yes, by all means, you should take pride in your work. But it can never hurt to seek constructive feedback from others. I fully acknowledge that it's sometimes scary and uncomfortable to invite others to bring out flaws in your work, but the alternative is probably worse. Depending on the purpose of the writing, this alternative could range from a bad mark on your assignment to submitting a poorly written cover letter and not getting the job. The fact is that regardless of how hard you've worked and how much time you've invested into your writing, someone else, not you, is responsible for evaluating it. Think of asking your friends and family to proofread as a practice run. Second opinions can never harm you, they can only help you. Lastly, I find that it's so very helpful to have a clear, clean space to write. Now, I recognize that it's not always possible to have a space of your own, but that is a-okay. All it takes is 5 minutes of cleaning to eliminate clutter, and after doing so, my brain is much more ready to take on the challenge of writing. Otherwise, everything else in your field of vision can be distracting and a source of stress. This ties into the very first tip I gave in the video, which was to have the right mindset. Trust me, decluttering your space refreshes your mind and can do volumes when it comes to motivation to get work done. And that brings us to the end of the video. As always, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you found this video helpful. In the next one, we're going to be switching gears to a super exciting topic that's one of my favorite things to discuss. But I'm going to leave you guys there. So goodbye for now and see you soon.